Burnout in product marketing is a huge problem. And have you ever asked yourself, how can I no longer be burnt out whilst doing this job? In today's video, I'm going to go through the burnout cycle that we as PMMs uniquely find ourselves in and how to break out of it. I'm going to show you the burnout cycle that PMMs commonly find themselves in. So if we jump into my LinkedIn account, I've created this cycle image where firstly, when a PMM joins an organization, it's hopeful, right? Excited to finally do meaningful work. Then it becomes the prove it phase. Okay, I'll show them I'm capable. Then all of a sudden we feel undermined and ignored. Why was I not invited to that meeting, right? Like you feel completely confused as to what is happening. Then the doubt and confusion kicks in. Maybe I'm not cut out for this. Then the emotional overload. I cried in the bathroom again. Or the burnout and numbness kicks in just to have to get through the week. Then the coaching and therapy. I just need to figure this out. And then maybe even here you start rage applying for other jobs, right? You start like looking around and then you recover and reflect, oh, I won't allow this to ever happen again. But then you start a new role and the same pattern begins because you think maybe this one will be different. And if this is hitting too close to the truth for you, this is a real thing that I've seen amongst hundreds, if not thousands of PMMs. This is very common. We uniquely feel this because we are at the intersection of so many different departments that we actually rely on other people. We rely on our stakeholders that we work with in order to do a good job. So actually burnout is very common in the product marketing role. And as we jump back in here and I show you the post that I wrote with this, is I've seen the burnout cycle play out countless times. One client came to me after being overlooked for a promotion again. He was doing everything, working late, taking on extra projects, always saying yes, foregoing his kids' basketball games to make sure he was in the office. Imagine having to let down your kid in order to work. It was such a tough situation for him that he found himself in when he came to me and we started speaking. So, but instead of recognition, he got more work and less respect. He started to doubt himself, wondering if he was the problem. And I've been there too, burning the candle at both ends, hoping someone will notice. But all it led to was exhaustion and a feeling of invisibility. This isn't just a junior PMM issue. It hits every seniority from associates to directors. And it hits us PMMs especially hard because we're often the glue holding everything together, yet we're treated like we're expendable. The PMM burnout cycle, how it starts, how it always seems to end unless you break the loop. And that's the tricky thing, my friend. It's about breaking the loop, which is the most important aspect. The hopeful start, excited to finally do meaning work. You're fired up, ready to make a difference. You've read all of the onboarding docs. You believe this time they'll get product marketing. Feel free to read through all of this. I'm going to share the link to this LinkedIn post that I wrote down below. But it is especially important to look at this visual because it is so common to fall into this trap where sometimes we think the solution is quitting a job and starting a new one when actually respect doesn't live in the new logo. It lives in how you're perceived in that organization. So Rice came to me, she's a product marketing manager, and she sent me this message on LinkedIn. And when I read the message, especially the bit in yellow, I was like, my goodness, this used to be me, because I had this feeling of being overwhelmed, just swimming in stakeholders who literally didn't understand what product marketing was, literally didn't understand what my role was. And I felt under the weight of the world, and so did she. So when we worked together, it was a case of how do we build up your respect as fast as possible? And that is the key, my friend. If you really want to break out of the burnout cycle, with working across so many different departments who require so much out of you, it's about how do you build up your trust factor and your respect factor as quickly as possible. It's all about visibility at that point because they know you can do the work and you know you can do the work. But actually, it's not about doing more, it's about doing less. Hey, real quick, before we jump back into the video, I want to say two things. Firstly, thank you for watching. It seriously means a lot that you're here, but did you know that 85% of people who watch my YouTube channel aren't subscribed? Which means that there's a high probability that you aren't subscribed either. So if you're enjoying this video right now and you haven't subscribed yet, I would highly encourage you to subscribe. It would help a lot more other PMMs find out about the channel and upskill and uplevel themselves as well. Secondly, if you're a product marketing manager who feels overlooked, underpaid, and just not respected the way you feel you should be at work, I want to encourage you to join me in a very special online experience called the Profitable PMM Challenge. It's a special 5-day live coaching experience where I will take you through the exact system that I've used in my career and for my clients to help position you as a more respected, more valued, and higher paid PMM without burning out, having to beg anyone for a promotion, or waiting for someone else to value you. Whether you want to grow in your current role or position yourself for a promotion, raise, or a new job, I would encourage you to join the Profitable PMM Challenge. You'll get daily trainings, practical exercises, and if you go VIP, you will have an additional 1-hour live coaching call with me to have your specific questions answered. The link is in the description or the show notes. Check it out, and I will see you inside the Profitable PMM Challenge. Now, let's get back to the video. Burnout is solved by building up your visibility where you work. And if you are interested in learning more about this, I recommend you take the Profitable PMM Challenge, where you can learn my strategic visibility system that will get you to where you need to go as quickly as possible, which is to break the burnout loop forever. Otherwise, you will face it 20, 30, 40 years into your career multiple different times, because we uniquely face this simply because we work across so many different departments, so many different big voices, and sometimes our voice is drowned out. We are minimized because of the impacts of other teams, because of the demands of other teams, and because of the loud voices from top down or other teams that we work with. So for us, it's super imperative as PMMs to make sure that our visibility is built internally where we work, so then we're not stretched thin across so many different teams doing work that actually doesn't matter. So that is the key to breaking the burnout cycle loop. So it begins with making sure that you are aligned with the right stakeholders, making sure that you're not doing all of the work, but doing the important strategic work, which is prioritized in a way that you know has the biggest impact on what the main company goals are, or the main goals of the key stakeholders you need to win over internally. Making sure that there's a distinction between the two, or if they are the same goal, then at least you have one North Star to work towards. Because not having alignment with stakeholders that we work with means that our product marketing projects aren't going to land, they're going to flop. The most important thing about our role is that we rely upon other teams that we work with for our projects to land and for things to get done. We can't do the sales, right? We need the sales team to speak to prospects, to then action our messaging, to action our positioning, to action our sales enablement collateral. Otherwise, they get unused. They go into an archive that no one ever looks at. And therefore, when it comes down to measuring our impact across different teams or across the organization, it leads to more pressure, which again keeps the burnout cycle looping and looping and looping. That's why when it comes down to breaking the cycle once and for all at an organization that you're working at, or through a season that's a little bit chaotic, it's about making sure that you have the visibility piece, that you have the strategy piece, that you are working on the most important tasks, and making sure that it's prioritized in a way that is in line with your goals, the company goals, key stakeholder goals, including your manager's goals, and making sure that you're ultra clear on what to work on and not scattered across all different tasks. Because otherwise, you will be busy beyond the 8 hours a day, maybe working 10 to 12, if not more, a day. And that is not what I want for you, my friend. I want you to have a really enjoyable experience in your product marketing journey and to enjoy this work, and making sure that you align with the right people, making sure that everything's clear and that you have boundaries and assertiveness and you're able to say no as well as saying yes, allows you to break out of the cycle for good. So that is how you break out of it. Burnout is such a sinister issue where it starts like little snowflakes and then it ends up in an avalanche and you don't even know how you got there. So for me, it's about, if I was your coach right now, I would say to you, what are the warning signs that show that you're moving towards burnout? Is it the fact that you're working out less? Is it the fact that you start to order takeout food more than having home cooked food? Is it the fact that you wake up later in the day, or you start to mumble your words, or like, what are the signs for you? Because the earlier you can capture the signs, the earlier you can put actions into momentum that will help you break out of that cycle or not even enter it at all. Because the worst thing you can do is find yourself stuck in that position of being like, I'm fully burnt out. I need a month, if not more months away from work, and have that impact you. Because I really don't want the organization that you work at and what chaos is happening at that organization to stifle you in your career. The best way to solve this is with systems thinking. It's really important to build out that foundation. Otherwise, it will just feel like putting a plaster on a severe wound. You're just putting plasters on it. So it feels good temporarily in the short term, but in the long term, the cycle hasn't been cracked. And I think that's what I've been seeing amongst hundreds of PMMs, because like I said, we are stretched thin amongst so many different teams. It's actually super important that we are mindful about the work that we're doing and making sure that's orientated around what actually matters, but also that we build ourselves up to becoming the person, the profitable PMM who is able to say no when it matters, to say yes when it matters, and to say it in a way that doesn't ruffle feathers, right? To say it in a way that shows that we're still a good teammate, but equally we are able to prioritize our work in a way that is accepted by the stakeholders who matter. So it's really important to crack this piece. And here's the thing, a lot of frameworks, product marketing books and courses and certifications and what you Google in terms of product marketing will not address this. It will not address this, and it hasn't addressed this because this is so nuanced and this is so hard to crack, and it is not easy. Otherwise, everyone would not face burnout. Now, burnout is very common, especially in tech and especially in product marketing. I had been burnt out for so many years. I would just kept entering into the loop over and over and over until one day I realized, I had this epiphany that I was like, I don't want this to be my life. How can I break this for good? So it's done for good. And the only way that I was able to do it in the most efficient way that maximizes the results, that it is able to cut through the noise and get me to my goal as quickly as possible, is through visibility, is through the strategic visibility system that I created. So if you are interested, join the Profitable PMM Challenge. I would love to see you there. Otherwise, share your tips down below about what has worked for you when you have faced burnout, because burnout is so sinister. It starts off small and then it gets bigger and bigger and bigger, and you don't even realize it's happening. And this is not a junior PMM issue. This happens to seniors a lot more than you would think, especially the VP level or the director level or the head of product marketing level, because they are faced with so many big voices that it's so much more common. So share down below. I would love to hear what you think, what has helped you. I jumped on here sharing this because I was literally just on the podcast like 30 minutes ago speaking about this topic. And it's so important to address because it seems so simple when actually it isn't. It's such a tough topic to face. So if you're interested in delving into this and having a solution done for you once and for all, jump into the Profitable PMM Challenge. Otherwise, I will see you in the next video.